Hey everyone, welcome to this series on automotive racing and whatnot. This is kind of wrapping up a year and a half worth of different kinds of things. You'll see these in the notes below of other kinds of activities, but very excited to be one of the judges with Robb Report's Car of the Year for 2026. We actually did this in the fall, November of 2025, and we've got 2025 and 2026 models that we got to have the opportunity to get behind the wheel and take on a course. So I'll get into all those details here in a second, but just wanted to welcome you to the channel, and hopefully if you enjoy this, you'll give us a thumbs up and subscribe. So here we go. First of all, this was done down in southern Florida, kind of in between Boca Raton and Miami. There's a place called the Concourse Club, which is a award-winning track, just really an amazing place. Great circuit course, a little bit over 2 miles long, pit area, and just really wonderful facilities there. And then we also were fortunate to be able to stay at the Boca Raton Resort and at the yacht club there, which you can see in the lower left-hand corner, which again was just a very nice experience to be able to start the days off there, meet back with folks, and have evening and breakfast and meal activities and talk about cars and get to know each other. Great group of folks, great staff from RR1 and great staff at the hotel as well too. So this is inside. Again, tip of the hat to Robb Report for doing this. I believe they've been doing it for about 22 years. So it's really kind of a fun experience. We have a lineup of 10 cars. This is literally kind of the lineup of them. I think there's actually two Rolls Royces in this, and I think we're missing the Mercedes-Benz Maybach. But anyway, that's generally what the cars look like when we were there at the track. And again, just beautiful facility. Had a wonderful vegan lunch there, which was really fun as well too. When we first got there, some of us got to go in some of the cars from the resort to the location. So that was about an hour's drive on the highway, which was also very helpful with experiencing the cars in regular road conditions. That was fun. Some of the cars were already there for us, so it kind of varied. But I got to ride in the Ferrari, which was a great experience to have that and be in that on the road. So when we were there, we had an orientation to the track and kind of how the day was going to be going. And again, this kind of gives you a very nice bird's eye view of what the course looks like. There were basically, and then there was also, which you can't really tell on this, pylon set up to do a variety of different kinds of activities. There's like a 3-turn slalom and then an emergency turnout kind of thing. And then probably the most fun, which you'll see in this video, was sort of the drag strip straightaways, which were really fun. And the way that they had this set up, we got kind of parsed into groups of 2 drivers. My co-driver would do 2 laps. I would sit in the passenger seat, and then I would do 2 laps, and he would sit in the passenger seat. In the Rolls Royce, if you had cars that, or even the SUVs, if the cars had back seats, if there were people that wanted to ride along, they could do that as well too. So really made for a nice day. We also had just really lovely weather for it, which was great too. If it would have rained, that would have been, fine. I guess we could have tested them out in those kinds of conditions as well. So for our itinerary, there were 3 groups. I was in the last of the groups. We did November 6th, 7th, and 8th. So this just kind of goes through, you can pause and take a look at this. I don't need to read it all to you, but this is sort of how the course of events went for that day. We flew in from Chicago to Fort Lauderdale, and then took a short Uber to get to the Boca Raton Resort and check in. On November 7th, that was really kind of the day. They parsed you out. You start off with a breakfast and orientation, and then to the course, and I'll show you kind of how we went through the cars here, right here. So we started off with the Ferrari, had a little break, then the Lamborghini. I'll tell you what happened with the Maserati when we get to that, Mercedes, etc. So you can kind of see how things parsed out. So we would always kind of go in a very well organized lineup. We would have the lead car would be a experienced to the course professional driver. He was in a BMW convertible, so that was just really kind of a nice way. We all had two-way radios in the cars that communicated with each other and with the expert driver going around the course. So it was really a great way to do it, very well organized. And then we were kind of done on that day of the 7th. The next day, we had a farewell breakfast, which was, again, just very nice, and had a chance to catch up with some of the other staff members and just, thank them, and had a wonderful time. So here's the course. This is a video that I shot there, so I'll hit play and you can hear my commentary with it. This is actually they wet this. This was a skid pad, and I had heard prior to our arriving there the week before that there were some female models in the center of this, and someone was taking, I don't know if it's a Vanquish or something, but some type of Aston Martin around the skid pad drifting. So here's an overview of the start of the day. So here is the morning of the RR1 Robb Report COTY Car of the Year. So we've just arrived. Haven't really gotten started with anything. People are still arriving. This is kind of a overall shot of the course and coming up on the lineup of the cars. We came in a white Ferrari down there, so there's going to be a total of 10 cars, and probably we'll have quite the day ahead of us. A beautiful facility too, I should point out. A little over, I think, 2-mile track, and I think maybe this facility is 3 years old, but just beautiful. Looking forward to the day. So that's that overview. And then this was, I have a son to watch. I had it set on to motorsports. So this will kind of give you a very bird's eye view of what it was like. These are actually the 112 and 93 is my heart rate, not speeds, but they probably kind of correlate with each other. So here's what it looked like to do 2 laps around the course. It also kind of gives you a perspective as to where the course is and what's around it. There's a airfield that you'll maybe have seen or will see again. And there are also motor condos available too. So if people want to watch from a bird's eye view for themselves, or second story view rather, and keep their cars there, that's an option as well too. So really a very well thought out, well executed, well designed kind of facility. Hopefully this won't get you too dizzy. Someone in the e-tron, a passenger, I believe, it was going so fast, I don't know if it was through the corners or whatever, but they actually had to pull over so the person could throw up. So again, tip of the hat to the course designers and to the engineers over at Audi. So I won't go through all this. You can, again, if you want to see about it, but this is just sort of my racing bona fides. I really am kind of a, pentultimate car guy, gearhead, what have you. I've gone to the variety of races, Indy 500, Le Mans, in France, obviously. I went to my first Formula One race in Baku, Azerbaijan. I personally myself have gotten behind the wheel of a Viper RT-10 and GTS at Sebring, in a driver's training course with Vic Elford, who is amazing, the kind of the ultimate Porsche race car driver. Quite a few times on Blackhawk Farms, Road America. Last year, you'll see videos on this of doing the ultimate streetcar challenge in a 2023 Corvette C8 Z51. I've got there are 5 events, and those are all part in the show notes links below if you want to check those out, see what that's about. Zipped around, crawled through the window, put the steering wheel in Orlando Speedway in a Chevy Stockcar, 650 horsepower that just had an amazing cam, and it just sounded amazing. My wife and I drove 1,000 miles to then do a 1,000-mile rally and then drive 1,000 miles back in that same Corvette C8, which the packing of that was probably the biggest challenge. Rented a 911 GT3 and went out around the area of Tail of the Dragon. Just amazing there too. And my wife and I did a European delivery with what back 10 years ago was a new Audi A7 that I just loved. Had that car for 10 years and had the opportunity to drive it on the Autobahn, which I'd always wanted to do. Also, I covered SEMA last year, which is also a link if you want to check that out. Took the Corvette also to the Arkansas Mile in 2024 and set 2 land speed racing records, which was really kind of terrific. And then earlier this year in March, went to the Nürburgring and rented a Porsche 718 GT4 that was race prepped, better brakes, better tires, roll cage, harness, etc., and got to do 4 laps around the Nürburgring, which was really kind of a highlight. So also did stuff with showed a Concours 911 that I had customized, and some bikes and things like that as well too. So anyway, all those kinds of things. If you have interest in learning more about those, getting involved in those, I've got videos as well. So let's take a look at the cars. So this is the Audi e-tron. I should probably also say officially it's a 2025 RS e-tron GT Performance. It rings in at around $190,000. The sad part about this, totally electric, not a hybrid, is that by the time we got into it, toward the end of the day, it was in limp mode. We tried to do the first straightaway kind of drag race kind of thing, and it got as high as 45 miles an hour. Battery light came on, and a little turtle came on. So that was really kind of a drag. But I will tell you, being a former A7 owner, love the looks of this. It certainly looks like a more muscle-bound version of an A7. Just love the design, the interior, very familiar to what I was. It wasn't a lot of geeky gizmos and stuff like that, but very, purpose-driven. This was how it was spec'd out. So again, I'm going to go through these relatively quickly because they're hard to read, but if you want to, just pause the video and look at the details if you want to take a look at any of these cars in terms of their build sheets and specs and whatnots. But, kind of the highlight reel of this, 912 horsepower, really kind of amazing. Its 0 to 60 was 2.5 seconds, which really wished it had the opportunity to have done that. Similarly, this is the 2026 Dodge Charger Daytona Scat Pack Edition. It came in as the least expensive car there at $77,000. And again, kind of a disappointment. It pulled up. We started to get in. I got to sit in the driver's seat and didn't get to go much further than that because it was on such a low charge that it wasn't even worth to try and get it out onto the course. A weird thing about it, while it just sort of sat there, I heard this, kind of rumble of an engine, and I asked the engineers and the staff that was there, I said, is that just kind of like the stereo? And indeed it was. So obviously no tailpipes on an all-electric car, but it was spec'd out to have sort of this fake audible sound, so which was just kind of weird. So when I actually sat in it and hit the gas, it like revved up and sounded just like a 426 Hemi or something like that. So interesting design. It's got an odd kind of front nose spoiler that's kind of very, I thought it was kind of cool, kind of different. A lot of other folks did not really care for that, so it's really kind of an interesting design. I have since read that Dodge is going back to internal combustion engine in this car, I believe. So it'll be interesting to see if they continue to have the electric as another option. But 3.3 seconds, that's pretty good. But again, just total range anxiety when you're out on a race course, and really wish that these would have had enough juice to be able to test them out. So this is a 2026 Bentley Bentayga Speed. This is a hybrid, so we had gas and we had electricity. Again, here's the build sheet to spec it out. I think it came in at around $415,000. Yeah, so top speed 193, 0 to 60 was amazing for as big and heavy as this car is. Can you imagine a 5,400-pound car doing 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds? But you can do that when you have a 4-liter V8 cranking out 641 horsepower. Very comfortable car, very plush interior, kind of what you would expect from a Bentley. I was always kind of curious. I've been in Bentleys before, but never their SUV, and kind of curious as to what that experience was like. It was great. I mean, we even looked in the back seat areas. It's got velour headrests, and totally the seats in the back are just like the seats in the front, where you can adjust them every which way, etc. So really beautiful piece, and very impressive with its performance. Also, as I'll talk about in the next upcoming SUVs, very performance oriented, very good, cornering and whatnot was just really flat as could be. This is what we actually took, the white color of this one, but this was the 2026 Ferrari Puro Sangue, I think is how it's pronounced. It came in at $514,000, one of, I think, the second most expensive vehicle there. Has kind of interesting, weird suicide doors in the back. Again, very comfortable car. Just performance is just really sort of amazing as well. It's a 6.5-liter naturally aspirated V12, pulls 715 horsepower, 0 to 60, similar to the Bentley 3.3 top speed, also similar 193. Very comfortable car, great on the highway for an hour's drive. I just can't imagine taking that thing off road though. It just really seemed more like a 4-passenger Ferrari rather than an off-road vehicle, but that's probably more so me. I was also a very big fan of the wheels. I joked with a lot of the other judges that if we had an award for best wheels on all the cars, that it would have won that from me. They just really, I'm not a geek with wheels, I guess, but with this car, I thought it was really kind of cool. So here's the story behind this. This is a 2025 Maserati MC20 Cielo, I think is how it's pronounced. We had the Roadster version. Another couple of the judges drove it to the track. I really enjoyed that experience. It's got really kind of crazy doors that open up kind of vertically and out, almost like a Koenigsegg in a sense, a little less like the doors that sometimes Lambos have with scissor doors that come up. Really interesting car. The specs on it, you can just again pause on each one of these, but this is the build sheet of how the car was all specced out. Smallest engine of the bunch, 3-liter twin turbo V6, but nevertheless it can still crank out a 612 horsepower and pull a sub 3 second 0 to 60. Pretty impressive out of a 6-cylinder. Price is $276 and some change. The problem with this, all personal, no offense, Maserati, but I've never been a big fan of Maseratis. They tend to, historically, build quality has not been great. Reliability has not been great. Depreciation has been great. You can usually pick up, the 2-seater, 2-door, 4 doors, for pretty inexpensively, and have a lot of repair bills to come along with that to make up for that cost savings. But sadly, I think first time out, the judges scraped the wall. So we had this big long pause. We didn't know what was going on with the schedule. And then someone looked off in the distance, and here was the Maserati on a flatbed. So didn't want to embarrass anybody. I don't know all the details about that or kind of what happened, but it was out of commission. So unfortunately, this was a third car that we never really got to get behind the wheel and see what was what. This was it, pre-scratch. There you can kind of see that crazy door opening, and kind of a wild color combination. I like the white. I don't know that I'm a big fan of the blue and white kind of Captain America stripes, but anyway, that was what it looked like before it had its little whoopsie. This is a 2026 Mercedes Maybach SL680 Monogram Series. It comes in at $278,000, or pardon me, $238,000. Kind of not a fan. Here's the build sheet on it and kind of what's what. A lot of stuff's come standard, so that's why you don't see a whole lot of options on it. But I have a 2025 Mercedes-Benz CLE 450 Cabrio 4MATIC. So obviously it's not a Maybach, it's not the AMG version. Mine's got a turbocharged hybrid 6-cylinder engine. Which is fine, does the job for what I need, but I think it's maybe probably sub 5. I doubt that it's sub 4 seconds 0 to 60. It's pretty got good pickup. But when I was sitting inside this Maybach, it was basically the same interior. And I've got 4 videos on my review of my Mercedes, which I'm not a real big fan of. You can hear why in those videos. But it's got, honest to goodness, I mean, it's got the same steering wheel. It's got the same dashboard. It's got the same iPad-ish kind of display in between on the console. It's got the same way to shift gear, put it in gear, which I hate, which is like a stock on the steering column. It had very similar seats with the air scarf system, but just a little bit more stitching and a little, nicer high-end leather material than what I have. I think I've got an MB-Tex maybe, because it's supposed to manage the sun a little bit better. But I've got a white interior, white seats, and black carpeting. This had white seats and white carpeting, which already was just showing wear of even just being a demo was looking pretty, stepped on. And for the price to go with the whole Maybach kind of variation, I thought it just had like the hood was a little weird. It had like this carbon fiber hood that was painted or that was like exposed carbon fiber, so that differed from the paint. That just looked like a little kind of weird, gangster kind of thing to me. It didn't look to the Maybach standard, in my opinion. Certainly comfortable, not really a super high performance car. It's not meant to be, even though, it's got a 4-liter twin turbo V8, etc., 9-speed. I've also got a 9-speed. I don't have the speed shift, whatever that is. But anyway, I was really kind of disappointed. It'd be a great, touring car, except you don't have that much luggage space in it, since it's an SL. I had an AMG SL 55 some years ago. This is a soft top. Mine was a Pano hard top. I had tons of problems with the hard top. I've never had any problems with the soft top with my CLE, but it just wasn't that different. I mean, if I was in the market to buy a car like this, I would probably just go with a high-end SL, because I really don't feel like you get that much more bang for the buck going with the Maybach. And it just seems weird having a two-door Maybach. I always think of Maybachs as extended wheelbase, four-door, have a chauffeur kind of thing. So anyway, sorry for the dig, but those are my experiences of it. Okay, this was wild. This is a 2026 Rolls-Royce Black Badge Spectre. I just love the name of it too. We had two. We had a gray one, and here's it, and a black one. The purple I thought was really kind of cool. Love the lights, love the design, humongous hood, etc., etc. I mean, it's a Rolls Royce. The doors are suicide doors. They open out. There's a button you press that's on the center or pull up that's on the center console that shuts the door, because it's just actually kind of hard to reach out and shut the door. Here's how it's spec'd out. It came in price wise at, let's see, where is it? $465,000. So it's up there. And it has, like, if you ever watch videos on these cars, it's got when the doors are open, it has umbrellas that you can take out on the passenger side and the driver's side. It's got this beautiful, constellation in the ceiling panel. It's got dual motor, electric, all-wheel drive. It just, it was amazing. For 650 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds, weighing in at 600 or 6,500 pounds was really kind of amazing to be able to again pull off these 3.6 0 to 60 times. Super comfortable, a little rolly in the slaloms and stuff like that, but it's a Rolls Royce. It'd be a great grand touring kind of car. Humongous hood, just really has a gravitas and a presence to it that is really kind of amazing. But build and spec and quality of materials, interior quietness, just always just lovely, just really kind of fun. Now here's the opposite, kind of fun in a whole different kind of way. This is a 1965 Mustang OVC Grand Touring LM. It actually comes in at $359,000. They had the convertible, which was there more so for show. It's kind of a prototype. It's a roadster. You can see it's kind of got this speedster kind of thing that the convertibles never really had, but they've done that. And we got to take around the course the hardtop version fastback. And man, it was wild. It was just so fun. And what a crazy car. So this I thought was just really kind of cool. So there's the spare. It's got a full roll cage in it. I don't know if you can tell. You can see the American flag kind of etched in that black plastic rear windshield. But it's also got course maps of all the places I presume that this car has been taken around on. And then I asked the guy after I'd gone around the track in it to pop the hood. And so it's a 289, but I think it's been bored out. We'll see the specs in just a second. It's probably got an 850 double pumper Holley carburetor, which I haven't used those words in decades since I, was kind of into muscle cars in high school. But it was just really, what a great cam. I mean, it just thunked. It had straight pipes. They extended out just in front of the rear tires. It was just really kind of a fun car to take around the course. So this kind of describes the build sheet of it and whatnot. The spec on it is just really pretty crazy. Here we go. And so, here we go. It's 460 horsepower at 6,400 RPM on pump fuel. So if you had racing fuel in it, it'd be a little different. It's not a drag car. It's really kind of a road course car, which is a little bit of a paradox. So it's 0 to 60 isn't like nuts at 6 seconds, but probably true to what that kind of car could do with a carbureted V8 of a relatively small displacement. But no power brakes, no power steering, and a manual 4-speed. So the way that they did this, you didn't get 2 laps around with your driving partner. You got 1 lap around with a professional driver who kind of coached you through stuff. So like you would, once you got it going, you would not shift until you got into 4,000 RPM. And I joked with the driver coach that it had been a long time since I actually had to pay attention to a tachometer, but it was crazy. I mean, so they describe this is their words. It's kind of Frankensteined together. You shut the door and you know you're in a 1965 Ford Mustang because of kind of the rattliness of it. You turn the key. They did not do anything any different. And man, hauling a manual non-power steering car around that track was just really a kind of a fun experience, especially from all the nanny controls and everything else that was going on with all the other cars. So that was really pretty fun. Big tip of the hat for just people doing continuation series. It gets the VIN is a continuation, and it gets licensed and registered as a 1965 Mustang. Now coming into the future. This is a 2025 Lamborghini Urus SE. It's the hybrid version. There's its spec sheet and cost. I think it came in at $358,000. Yeah, $358,000. There it is. So it's a 4-liter twin turbo V8 hybrid system. 8-speed automatic, has a whopping 789 horsepower, which you really do need for a this size of a car. I think the driving of it is the looks of it are very by virtue of opinion. I'm not a big fan of it. A lot of people did like the exterior looks of it. I mean, it does look beefy and aggressive, but I thought it just kind of looked like an overinflated orange rugby ball. We joked that it's the color of it was pull me over orange. They pulled the same color of orange throughout the interior. I mean, I might like it if it's like in a darker color or something like that, but it was a crazy car to drive. Not a big fan of the interior either, in the sense of the dashboard. I mean, honestly, the center screens just looked a little Tron-like or something, a little video game-esque, which kind of turned me off. It kind of, they showed you what they could do and they did it, but it didn't necessarily have great function following form. So coming up in the next 2 videos are going to be me behind the wheel in 2 different modes. I believe the first one is in kind of a standard mode, and the second one is in Corsa. Corsa, I think I was able to wring out a couple of extra horsepower in it. So here they go. There's the stop. There's hitting it. So it looks like we got up to about 91 at that. Here we go again. You can see the dash is reconfigured now that I'm in Corsa. and you'll see the RPMs, and the speed is like in the lower, in the white, and the whatever gear I'm in is in the right center. I think the shift points change as well too. Yeah. So that was the Lamborghini. Now, save the best for last. This is a 2025 Aston Martin Vanquish Coupe. Just love this thing. Everybody, to a point, 99% of every judge loved this car. I've never been a real big Aston Martin fan. I was gonna say I don't think I've never owned anything British, but this would be tempting if I had an unlimited bank account. Just really, Aston Martins historically have had a bad rap of not great build quality, kind of chintzy plastic interiors, blah blah blah. Well, they have exceeded themselves with this 2025 Vanquish. It is just a masterpiece. The homage, the tail end of it is great. There's this sort of like interesting little dimple you can see in the door from the front fender. When the doors open, they come up just a little bit. They don't just perfectly swing out. They come up just a little bit. Panorama roof. In the back, it almost looks like they have like little teeny seats, but they're not seats. And across that is a carbon fiber cross member that I asked the guy that was representing Aston Martin if that was to manage the torque of this so that it wouldn't crack because I'm sure the body, bends a little bit. I'm sure it's rigid as can be, but there's still a little flex that it wouldn't crack the panorama window. And he kind of jokingly said, yeah, that's probably the case. Just really the interior, just beautiful, very purposely designed electronics and configurable dashboard. Everything's kind of where you'd expect it to be, just, oh man, tip of the hat. And even like, here's there. Oh, I should have said too, it weighs in at $552,600. This was our most expensive. The base is $429, and with the way it was spec'd out, we were at $552 and some change, and just beautiful. There's that rear end of it. I love the color. That's pretty much the color of our interior as well, of what we were in. I guess it is the interior that we were in. So it's just really just a man. They have nailed it. They have just gotten it right. In terms of its spec, it's a 5.2 liter twin turbo V12. You're going to hear me nail it in just a second with that. That generates 824 horsepower. I think I believe that's the fastest. I was sort of surprised that it was still a 3.4 second 0 to 60. I would have thought it was sub 3, just kind of with how it felt. And just really, just a masterpiece. Bravo. Throwing bouquets. It was just really a wonderful, wonderful car. So next up, it was the fastest I was able to get on the straightaway test. Got up to about, I believe, 107. And so notice how this sounds different than the Lamborghini with a twin turbo V8. This is what a twin turbo V12 sounds like. Here we go. It went off. I think the last thing you can see was 101, but I do believe, honest to goodness, that we got up to 107. So that was our day. Now the day is over. This is the kind of thank you very much and closing video. I'll play it and then have a few other last remarks.
Okay, back 6-8 hours later. This is back at the track after a day of doing the test drives and reviews and lunch, very nice lunch. Really some pretty amazing cars, great people, really fun experience, and an amazing track. So really happy to have been a part of this, and tip of the hat to all the manufacturers and to Robb Report and our fun club. That was a great experience.
All right, so there are the cars coming in from the last lap around. So again, I want to thank Robb Report. I'm a member of their RR1 club and big fan of that. Longtime reader, decades of reading Robb Report, and just tickled to be able to go on this and be able to have this wonderful experience all the way around. Just really great track, great people, great organization, great cars to get behind the wheels of. Just really an amazing time. And then these are some of the partners that they had. We had tastings, we had nice little gifts. Just really can't think of anything else to suggest that it would have been the case. It was just really a wonderful, wonderful time with great sponsors and great partners with Robb Report. So tip of the hat to all these folks with great appreciation and gratitude. So for me, I'm going to sign off. Please do check out the other series that I have on the channel. I've got stuff on motorcycles, 2022 BMW R9T and a Ducati show bike. We've got all the things I was talking about of the series of getting started in auto racing and all the things involved with that. Owner's reviews of the Mercedes CLE 450 and the Corvette C8 Z51. And then also I've got a podcast that covers a variety of different kinds of things. Probably do more stuff with motorsports, but already got quite a few things dealing with motorcycles. So hopefully that might be of interest. So please just go down to the show notes, click on the links. If you have any questions or anything that I can answer for you, put those in the comment section. As long as I know they're there, usually YouTube pings me when there's questions or comments, and I'm happy to respond to them and to be of help of any which way. But please do. There's a variety of different kinds of, I think, if you've enjoyed this, other links and things that you might enjoy seeing and hearing some of the other activities and things that we've done. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure to drive safe. Bye-bye.